If there's one word that you would like to tell the CEO of today, or even a line, what would you tell them?
Always look from outside in.
How unprepared is the average global CEO today for the kind of disruption we are in today?
I would say more than 90% are not only unprepared, they're unaware. 2% of the people have 98% of the impact. Find them, nurture them, train them, move them. So over time, every CEO who's futuristic thinking, they develop this habit to sort out the nuggets out of the noise.
In the age of AI, what does talent even mean?
That we don't manage the younger generation and give them the power to make the decision close to the scene of action. To me, it's the universal truth. Talent is the competitive advantage.
My guest today, Dr. Ram Charan, has perhaps mentored more future CEOs than any living business thinker. He has watched what makes leaders grow and what makes them fail. He's watched them up close over 50 years across cultures, industries, and continents. He's not a theorist of leadership. He's its most seasoned diagnostician. What does great leadership look like under pressure? Not in the case study, but in the boardroom. How do you lead people who don't want to be led? What does talent even mean in the age of AI? And what is the single trait, not skill, but trait, that separates a good leader from a truly great one? Let's go deep in understand leadership for the next 20 years. There's one word that you would like to tell the CEO of today, or even a line, what would you tell them?
Always look from outside in, detect what is real, and confront it.
When it comes to confrontation, does one plan as a strategy and then go about it, or should one go by mere gut and the available information?
The real task is to sort out from the data every CEO gets in more than one ways, is to see what is the realism. Will never have total information, should have known certain sources of information, which are reliable, which are not. And the data coming from the ground up, not from the top down. So over time, every CEO who's futuristic thinking, they develop this habit to sort out the nuggets out of the noise. It has to be a habit, and it has to have sources of data, some reliable, some lot of noise. That should be guiding behavior, time allocation, and all the actions you do. In most cases, people become CEOs from functional area, and many of those have not been doing this. They become obsolete to go to the new game.
The half-life of a CEO's strategic assumptions have collapsed. You used to be able to run a 5-year plan normally in the normal course of business planning. Today, it feels like a 1 month or at best a 6-month plan that one works towards. Thereby, how should a leader fundamentally restructure how to think about the future?
Yes. So here are 3 items. I'm very privileged in my life to work for 16 billionaires. Some of them are high school dropouts, and they are in Brazil, India, China, Japan, United States. What's about them? They never believed in 5-year plan. It's a paper exercise. Plan does not make money. It is the parts of it that you adopt today and put into the budget and allocate the cash. And with that, do you have the right people? So the plan part that I learned from these people, it's absolutely amazing, sir. I sit down for 2 hours with them. And I said, tell me what are the 5 ideas you're wrestling with? So Jack Welch wrote this. He says, a strategy is a set of ideas. Clear, specific, evaluating what does it take to execute. Iterate, and say what the budget will be. He said, note those down. That's your strategy. It's not in the 5-year plan. So every billionaire I work for, I'm able to write a strategy for them in 1 page. That's what they like. It'd be 2 pages, 3 pages. It's a set of ideas, let me say, clear, specific, and measurable outcomes. That's how we do that. But it's very concrete. It's not that I will have the world's largest market share. Those are platitudes. In 1980, IBM announced we will be a $200 billion company. It never did. China announces we'll be dominant, but they have a methodology. Selected industries, 90% capacity. This. And it is reviewed weekly. So this is what makes these billionaires different. They're down to earth. They don't use these fancy PowerPoints either, by the way, they don't. You have to talk to them.
You've said repeatedly that talent is the ultimate competitive advantage.
Correct.
But in the age of AI, what does talent even mean? When it comes to a leader or a CEO, their job of identification of talent and deployment, how does it change?
Yes. The first thing I want you to know, there is a new concept now that we don't manage the younger generation. We're going to change the organization structure and give them the power to make the decision close to the scene of action.
Don't manage but empower?
Empower, we will know through algorithms how they're performing. We have it now. It's not a dream. So we now have a 3-layer organization in large companies. It's a modular organization using AI as well. So you don't have that bureaucracy when you have 3 layers. And the 3rd layer making the decisions close to the action. So you're taking the guff out, bureaucracy, speed is increasing, costs going down, but the people at the bottom love it. They're getting the autonomy to make a decision. Algorithms are supervising the command and control function, and they all get the same information 24/7. Amazon's Jeff Bezos did this. That's a new configuration to go forward. Our portion of that is written in a Harvard Business Review article called permissionless organization.
They don't need to seek permission, so we don't need to have a structure which forces them to seek.
Yeah, but the tasks are assigned. You're going to do this task. There is an output. You're going to have this team. Here is the captain of the team. Do it.
Right.
Give you autonomy. But there are guardrails. It's not anarchy. And they love it because they grow faster. And we create new CEOs out of that very fast. See, one day I was sitting with Bill Marriott in 1980s, and he had a director with him, board member. They are friends, obviously. I was just there, happened to be sitting. And Bill said to the director, I want to expand internationally. I'll be building a lot of hotels. I need general managers. So the director asked the question, when a person comes on the front desk who's a graduate, how long does it take for him to be general manager of the hotel? He said 20 years. He said he'll never be able to expand. That went to 7 years.
How?
Delegation. Training. Training is very important. Most CEOs are not putting emphasis on real training. They get people like me to come give an hour talk, 2-hour talk, do the PowerPoint. That's not training. Mentoring is not training. It's hard-nosed training we do in sports, we do in services. CEOs have to go through training.
Dr. Ram Charan, the next generation of leaders, the Gen Z and the younger millennials, they have a very different psychological contracts with the employers.
Correct.
Authority, hierarchy, or purpose. They're all redefined. They mean different things to them. How does a 21st century leader lead people who don't want to be led?
Excellent point. Why should we ask the question they don't want to be led in the first place? Because one thing is totally different from the past generation. Their learning, their working is 3-dimensional: visual, listening, and print. All the previous one have been not having visual. It's a different combination of three senses than most of them who learn through print and rote learning in the classroom. That is only a portion. Today, all of us, if they want to, we get a plethora of information in seconds and sort it out. I can produce a book today in 30 days, but have never been possible. It's a different cognition. Why should I be led? Yes, you give me the assignment. Yes, I should have a team. Yes, coach me if I need you. But don't put me through 6 layers of functional hierarchy. I'm not built that way. That's the new generation. We got to take the potential of these people. They have a powerhouse here. And the senior people using the old rules, they ain't going to go. So those who are going to have 3 layers, the third layer is these people. They're going to grow faster and better. And they're going to retain people better.
In your experience, what is the single trait that separates from a good leader to a great one?
I have a view. Ability to listen and search what's new. So one day I was in the elevator in Hyatt Regency in New Orleans. I entered at the 40th floor. Jack Welch entered at the 38th floor. He's shorter than I am. He knows me extremely well. I said, "Good morning, Jack." No answer. Elevator going down. I said, "Jack, good morning." No answer. Now I'm beginning to worry. Next time, "Jack, good morning." He looks at me like this and he says, "What's new?" I have to tell him what was new. I said, "Zero working capital." He said, "Never heard of it." And then I made all the arrangements for him to learn. So every CEO I'm telling, you ask people what's new to them. You will be surprised what you learn.
Listen.
And search what's new.
Okay.
Searching new is very important because I have a belief there's not a day go by when something new is not happening.
You know, boards are being asked to oversee risks they fundamentally don't understand. Some of them is AI governance. Some say cybersecurity. In the current times, it's geopolitics, which is important. But is the board model itself broken? And if so, then what needs to change?
In my life, I've been to 100 boards. I still am. If you talk in India, the board effectiveness is almost totally dependent on the promoters or a powerful CEO. There's a reason. Board doesn't have information and it is asymmetry of the information. And board compositions were made early in promoters, friends, relatives, loyalty, and so on.
So what needs to be done to have the board updated with the latest information?
Oh, that is easily available. You won't believe it. We now have a chatbot who will be present in the boardroom. It will have an opinion. Data is there. It's being built right now.
In who? Which company's boardroom?
No, it's in an American company. It's being built right now. And that will be providing all the information you need.
So is the chatbot going to listen to all the conversations?
Oh, yeah. It's being built.
And then we sought an opinion for?
Opinion, asking questions, participate. But it's not going to go very far. Board is a power game. Most CEOs will not want it.
Okay.
It's a power game. People must understand, if you don't own the majority, the board is a power game. I sit on the other side and see that. I had coached one person, became very big CEO, and his man was the chairman of the board. One day he gets a notice, "You're out." Where was his man?
You've mentored hundreds of leaders across cultures. But as someone who's seen India up close, is this genuinely India's decade, or is that more an aspiration than execution?
Yeah, I am very clear on this. That means I have a view. When I look at all the countries in the world, it is India's decade plus. a great part of that, and it's in my mind is a universal truth. The destiny of a nation in major way is determined by the leader who heads it. Just think about if we had Rahul here in charge, I don't think I'll be saying the same thing. Even if there was a different person from BJP, which you can imagine who it was, it wouldn't be the same thing. And therefore, the succession for Mr. Modi is very critical. And I'm happy to say, I wrote a piece on it, how he's building the succession in BJP. It is the first one in life I've seen that a political leader systematically is building a succession for the ministerial post in the future. This is the only one I've ever seen. And he's building it, testing it, and I believe it'll be a very good output.
Dr. Ram, you've been advising leaders for the last 5 decades or more, right? But if you were 35 years old today, starting your career, what would you do differently, and what would you tell a younger leader who's 25 that nobody else is telling them?
The advice I give to the children of every CEO or so on is figure out the person's God's gift. I have tools how to do that. And let that person go into that track.
My last question, Dr. Ram Charan, what would be the one thing that you want every CEO listening to this podcast do differently starting tomorrow?
At this point, he must do the war room.
Do the war room.
War room. First, design the war room of these 4 people or similar 4 people. Second, daily cash flow. Third, communication to the people inside. Totally trustworthy, totally clean, no manipulation. And then, once you begin to see some stability because of the trade-offs, then you start seeing what's the structural change. And look 20 years out, work backwards. What would I do as a result of that today? And what trade-offs I'm going to make? The second part is, to me, it's the universal truth. Talent is the competitive advantage. 2% of the people have 98% of the impact. Find them, nurture them, train them, move them. I call those people khazana. They are the ones. Every promoter I work with, you must own the khazana. People think khazana of money. I said, no, talent brings money. Money doesn't bring talent. Do that, because that's the ultimate long-term, short-term competitive advantage. And value creation. Value is created by talent.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. It's been one learning session for everyone who's listening to this podcast. I'm sure they'll have multiple rereads and reviews to understand, pick up, and go back and listen again. Thanks so much.
My thank you, sir. Your questions are so insightful, brings the best out of me. These questions have never been asked from me. And that just makes me reflect at the age, coming to the evening of my life one day, reflect on it, and you make me humble to realize that. Thank you very much.